Get tickets super early for stuff. Like I just saw Irene too, but I think I got the ticket like 5 months ago. Like the second I saw she was announced, I like got a ticket.
Yeah, that's how I am, and I had for a while. I had the text notifications.
Yeah, I love those. That's when when I got the text that Hannah Einbinder was coming to the Improv. I was at work and I sprinted to the break room to buy my ticket. I was like, I can't miss this.
I gotta look at her. I don't know who that is. So there's so many names.
The show Hacks. That's how I found her.
How do you spell it? EI? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, in just a moment here, we'll look at Hannah. But hello, everybody. I'm mid-conversation, which doesn't normally happen because something that also just never happens, as is evidenced by the history of the show, is that I've never made a fatal error such as the one I just did. Moments ago, we started recording, my guest here and I realized for at least 50% of the recording I was completely muted, so it was just her beautiful voice alone in the ether. It probably sounded insane, but you probably had a lot of resolve, like you were having a genuine conversation with natural breaks and everything, but to nobody. So I hope this will make you look a little better and like you're a sane person and not talking to a wall or a computer screen. Yeah. No, I have here with me the excellent, incredibly funny Mara Feiner. Everybody, local DMV comedian Mara Feiner is in the house, or not quite. She's in her house or her apartment over Discord here, which we love to see. I'm glad. It sounds great on your end, honestly. Like this is the first time somebody's like called in, quote unquote, and it's like sounded amazing. So.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I was worried about this window because I'm like, I will
no,
not pay for air conditioning to go on.
There's nothing. Like, are you using a mic or what? I'm just curious.
No, it's my iPad Mini. I don't know which generation it is.
But... That's wild. Apple is on something. Like, take my data, do whatever you have to do. As long as it sounds like this every time, I'm happy. No, so we were just talking about before everything, or I realized everything was on fire anyway. It was... we met each other at a class given by a celebrity comedian, Jessica Kirson. And, I mean, for me, that was a wild experience. It was my first time seeing live comedy. Actually, no. That's a lie. I saw, I'll think of his name later, but I did see somebody at that same venue at the DC Improv. Brian Simpson, I saw at the DC Improv.
Ooh.
It had to have been a month prior. And the first person I was going to see there was Christina P., comedy duo, her and her husband, Tom Segura. They do a funny podcast that I usually listen to. But she canceled, and she had a make good later that I would get a ticket to. But in the meantime, I saw Brian Simpson was my first ever live show, my live comedy show. And then it would be that class that we were both at. And I was saying the same night, you didn't get to see her perform later that night because you had to go help your rabbi, you were saying? Because it was the first night of Hanukkah.
My dad, about me performing at synagogue, because my dad always talks about how I'm a comedian. So, it was first night of Hanukkah set at work at synagogue.
Now, did you have those jokes ready to go for something like that? Or was that something you were writing for frantically?
Oh yeah, no, I was worried because I think that might have been my first time that I had to do like 100% like clean set.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like family type thing, like family friendly. But then I realized all of my clean material is gay and Jewish, so I think it worked really well because my synagogue is like it's a Reconstructionist synagogue, so it's more like lenient on the scale of like Orthodox conservative.
Oh, cool.
Like Reform Reconstruction, and they're all like very like we had like they're very like pro like LGBT whatever stuff. So I was like, gay Jewish material was perfect for my synagogue.
That's what's up. Yeah, the open-minded churches are where it's at. Like, and I've never been to one, is the thing. So it's like when I think church of any kind, synagogue, what have you, I think just, oh Lord, here we go.
My the previous rabbi. So rabbis are supposed to traditionally only be men, and the previous rabbi we had was a woman, and she was lesbian. So like, it was a very much like modern synagogue.
Yeah. That's okay. That's what's up. So you were going. Was this paid or was this sort of you giving back?
No, it was just free. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, man. I mean, you want me to pony up? You might want to.
I am doing a synagogue in Baltimore in December. That one, I have no clue what I'm gonna say, because that one, the guy that's producing it said that it's like a mix of like conservative and like Orthodox and Reform and Reconstruction, like every type of level of Jew.
Oh boy. Yeah, that if you don't have the material ready to go, that's why I asked. It's just that would feel daunting. Like it's hard enough for me to imagine doing clean material now from where I'm writing from, or just from like a general place, because most of my stuff is being gay and then just being like raunchy or whatever. I feel like I could do without the cuss words. But the themes might not be for all audiences.
Well, I think sometimes like clean can mean that you can do the same thing as long as you're just implying instead of stating. Yeah,
for sure. I just when it comes to like going to synagogue, I would feel that pressure.
Oh yeah,
tenfold.
Maybe
Yeah, so I'm glad that you come from an open environment, or at least when you're there, it doesn't seem too judgmental or anything like that, because the churches I grew up in and around were like Baptist or super, just everything's just so, if you deviate from that, it's somebody's gonna beat it out of you. Somebody's gonna correct that path in their eyes. But no, that's actually something I wanted to talk to you about. I'm glad you bring it up, that most of your material is about being gay, about being Jewish, about being you. It seems to be centered around your experiences, true events. Am I on the right track here?
Yeah, no, that's generally what I do.
Yeah, so when we took the little class together where we met, and you took my picture with her, which I'm very grateful for to this day. And I have that picture of me and Jessica Kirsten. And then when I saw you, I must have seen you at the first ever nightcap I went to at the Comedy Loft. And I go, oh my gosh, that's the girl with the beanie who took my picture. That's awesome. Like, and I got to see you killing it up there. I had been writing ever since. Like I had just been writing jokes ever since that class, to eventually go up somewhere, and I couldn't for the life of me find anywhere that I felt suited somebody who's like a first timer. Like I wasn't gonna sign up at the nightcap like that and make a fool of myself. But searching everywhere, and I talked a little bit about this off mic, searching everywhere, most of the places wanted you to pay and bring like 8 to 10 people with you, and it seemed like a real sort of skeevy thing going on, where they knew you were brand new and that they could take advantage of you. So, but eventually I found Dwayne White's mic at the Electric Palm in Woodbridge and went up there, and I just had a great time. But I was writing before I even got there to that point, going up for my first time. I saw you in DC, and I felt like a third of my jokes I couldn't do anymore, because they were concentrated about that you have gay dads, and that was
we both was going to be bonded over. We have literally the same like back.
I was like, man, she beat me to it. We were
the same bar too.
Yeah, that's wild to me. My dad, your dad or one or both of them has probably seen mine at some point at
they had to have crossed paths
at any number of those gay bars. Man, my dad is out there just doing his thing, which scares me. It scares me. Do your dads ever traumatize you like my dad has? My dad just doesn't give a shit at this point, I think. Like,
what'll happen is if I'm with them and their friends, they don't say stuff, but the friends sometimes say stuff. Then you can connect some dots. And my best friend and I have wished we didn't connect some dots that we had.
For real? No, I was just with a group of them. I don't want to
be an adult. I liked being the child in the room. No one wanted to say anything around me.
Yeah, I was just with a bunch of because my dad's friends are all former military. They're like government. Civilians now, so they all work in and around the Pentagon. But so I'm sure he really loves when I like tell jokes about him and his like proclivities in his personal life. Yeah. I try not to. I try to make them absurd and more focused around me, but they sometimes involve him. No, he. But those guys, they're the same though. They don't give a shit when they're together. It's just like birds. Chirping, gossiping, just
some of the stereotypes that are true is what we find out now.
Legs crossed and lips flapping. It's like there were no secrets.
A drink in hand, a little straw with it.
It's always with them. It's always like Veuve Clicquot and mimosas. So we just got together, all his friends, and I was there because the Army 10 miler just happened every October. They shut down part of the highway and a lot of the roads around Northern Virginia and DC for a 10-mile race. And it's a lot of Army people from all backgrounds can sign up and do it. Like I did it one year, and that was the last time I plan on ever doing that.
I was gonna say, that's a long, I think the most I've ran is 4 miles, and that was once.
No, it's not worth it at all. But it felt like something I could do, that I could train for, and I did. And I can say I did that. And I'll keep saying that until I die. And hey, I ran 10 miles once. I have a friend who keeps trying to sign me up for a marathon. I'm like, I can barely walk like now. 20? A marathon's like 20 something, like 24. You know, it's like, who in their right mind?
Couldn't be me.
No friend of mine anymore. Truly. Remove them from my content because where do you get off signing me up to basically essentially end my life on full display? I'll get to the first watering station and I'll keel over without a doubt. But that was a lot of fun. But they do at one of my dad's friends' houses in Alexandria. He does a brunch. So right after the race, people can come by. There's champagne ready to go, orange juice, the whole deal, and he's got a whole spread of like half barbecue food, half breakfast, pancakes and shit, and it's always a good time. And that's like the core group of my dad's friends. But all these guys are out at Number 9, Trade, Uproar, Damn, I've Green Latrine, Green Lantern. And then Freddy's is a big one, Crystal City. And Freddy's is actually in and around where that race would happen. But no, my dad, for me, and I just brought this place up, the Green Lantern, like my dad will just invite me out places. Oh, I'm over at, are you in DC? And I'm like, because they'll see me.
I don't get all that.
No.
We just hang out at Freddy's together occasionally.
Well, occasionally, but he'll see me make a post or something. He'll be like, oh, you're in DC right now. I'm at the Green Lantern. You should come by. And this would have been my first time ever going there at all. And so I'm like, okay, sure. This must be like Freddy's, or this must be like, Trade or somewhere socially acceptable. And I get in there and it's like, it's jockstrap night and everyone's butt ass naked walking around. My dad is fully clothed in like business attire, business casual. I thought
this was gonna go a different way.
No. Please. I feel like we're inches away from that.
Maybe this is the difference of being the daughter of a gay dad and being the son of a gay dad.
I don't know. There shouldn't be one. This should be my parents should be just as chaste as yours seem to be, gay or otherwise. I don't want to know. I really don't. And so he's in there looking at everybody and fucking having a good old time, and they pump in this nasty ass smoke that smells it's asbestos, I think, that they just pumped the room full of. It was a disaster. And the place is in an alleyway behind a CVS, and when I got there was an ambulance outside and somebody was being hauled away. It was not
Oh my gosh.
anywhere I expected my dad to be. No, oh my god, if only I didn't see all that. I did ask somebody if someone was okay. They were just standing, against the wall with their legs crossed, smoking. I thought they were there because of the ambulance. They're like, I don't know. I'm just trying to smoke. I'm like, great, awesome, cool. And I was like, do you need to card me? He's like, I don't work here. Awesome, great. Nobody carded me. Just walked right in. The jockstrap night at the Green Lantern. No, but it's shit like that all the time, I swear. And so I'm working on this joke right now.
Yeah.
It's like halfway to being finished, I'd say. But the story is, I went over to my dad's place. We were gonna go get like lunch or something, and I park, and he says he can drive. So okay, we go to get in the car, and I had something that I needed to put in the trunk. I can't remember what it was. Like a jacket or something. So I go to reach in to put my thing down in the trunk, and I see he drives a station wagon, so he's got a big old trunk with enough space for a giant camping tent. It's like a Coleman camping tent. And I go, oh my god, like when have you been camping? I didn't hear about a camping trip coming up. You bought a tent, like what? And it's in your. It's like, yeah, I camp now. I go out. Well, you didn't want to invite your son, to do some father-son camping in the wilderness? I'd give it a shot. Because the last time I did anything like that was with him, and I must have been in like the first or second grade on like a log cabin camping retreat type deal. I caught a fish that like died it bled out everywhere. It was traumatic. So I'm like, can we like correct my past woes, my trauma? Can we fix that on a camping trip? And he goes, well, I don't know if you want to go on a trip with me. Immediately, but the switch doesn't flick in my brain. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't think I can do it? I'll watch YouTube or whatever it takes. I'll learn how to live in the wild with a tent. He goes, well, Christian, I started going down to Richmond, and it's a nudist camping retreat, Christian. I go to I doubt you'd want to go to that with me. And I did just that. I just shrugged. I was like, why even tell me that?
Gonna say you went with him.
No. I was just, why do I need to know? Why do we need to picture it? Why do I need to hear about it? Can you just make up and just say, no, you're fine. I suck at camping. Do whatever you have to do other than let me know that you're just completely balls out in Richmond somewhere with a bunch of other middle-aged men.
Yeah, every time you go to Richmond, you see a man, you're like, are you nude with
what's going on? Why are you in beach attire? What's happening? We're downtown. Where are you coming from? It's just shit like that, man. I swear. Yeah. I hate it. I hate how liberal and free my dad is. I wish he was just suffering still. You know what I mean? Like
just a little bit.
Just
not
a little
too
bit.
Much.
Like just stay closeted, please. If I had to choose between my dad staying closeted and knowing as much as I know about my dad, I say live in misery. No, my dad, it's crazy. I'll cease going on about him after this, but my dad's been through it. I mean, he grew up. We were talking about church and shit and how restrictive that can be growing up in one of those environments. But my dad grew up in a church cult out of Nebraska, in some like remote little town called Columbus, and they were no nonsense. They didn't play any games. He couldn't watch TV that everyone else in school was watching. Yeah. They had to dress a certain way in and outside of the church. They were just totally restricted with all media, music, radio, all of it. They couldn't. And he would eventually escape that and get like sort of trafficked between family members that were on the outside. Mm-hmm. And he ended up living with an aunt and uncle and going to school from their place, and then joining the military, and eventually totally breaking out of it. And I think when he was joining up in the military, that around that time, that's when he met my mom. And when he got back, that's when they ended up settling in together, and they must have been married at some point between them. I'm sort of, I have to brush up on the events
Timeline.
and the timeline, but that's when they met. But when he settled down and got a job here in Virginia, my mom found out that he'd been having an affair, and she signed him up for, what do you call it? Reform.
Conversion camp?
Yeah, conversion camp. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he tried everything he could, went to one of those. I need to pick his brain about that.
He willingly went to it?
Yeah, no, he didn't want to be gay. He he had a son. This might have been them trying to have kids and before that. But yeah, his brother, Russell Balmer, he's a psychiatrist for the Navy. He was like, yeah, it really works. He gave my mom like all the information and a pamphlet, and she's like, you need to sign up for this. You're going. And he's like, yeah, whatever it takes. And that worked, because now he's at nudist retreats in Richmond getting looked at all every which way. So, I mean, clearly it works is what I'm saying. But, I mean, do your dads have what's their background? What's their, did they kind of struggle?
Yeah, I don't really know. I need to have like a proper conversation sometime with my dad. But I know my mom and dad met in college. Got married right outside of college. My mom had a somewhat hectic upbringing and stuff, and like didn't like date growing up. So I think that she probably just like latched to who she found, whatever type thing.
Yeah.
And then like I guess they became friends, then dated, then got married, had me, and then somewhere like when I was like 2 or so ish, my dad, I don't know if he came out or if it was something like where something happened that forced him to be out, but to my knowledge, my aunt and grandparents and stuff were all, except my mom and dad's were friends like the whole time I was growing up. Like I was always confused because I knew other kids with divorced parents, like they were like, my parents can't be in the same room as each other, and that I never, because like we all still did stuff all together. So but I know my dad did tell me recently that, because like he was out in like Centerville, and apparently like back in the day, like if you went to a bar and there was like a gay night, it was like a secret, like you had to know a certain code, like you'd be like, everyone would know that it's like gay night at this one bar, but like it wasn't like a public info, which was interesting.
That's what I learned from my dad about Freddy's, actually, was that it was the first openly gay bar in the entire area in all of like DC, Virginia type of deal, right? So that's where all these government guys would get off from the Pentagon and they would go straight to Freddy's, because it was like the only all-inclusive sort of gay bar, openly gay, with the flags and all that the way it is now. I think it's been like 20 some odd years it's been around.
Well, your dad, I'm assuming, was also then in the military during like Don't Ask, Don't Tell and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, sure was. So.
Which I didn't realize how recent that was. I've watched the L Word for the first time recently, and they have like one of the plot lines is about Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and I'm like, this show isn't that old.
No, it's crazy. It's wild to think about what these people went through, just trying to skirt around the fact that they're attracted to, whatever sex. But people made do. The AIDS crisis shut a lot of that down and stigmatized it even further. My dad's former partner is a doctor who actually practiced in San Francisco during the height of that, and has been to and from Africa, providing aid as well. But I mean, there's so many different chapters in the gay timeline that really it was no joke. It was its own civil rights movement, so to speak. No, I mean, I need to do some digging with my own parents and get everybody together and kind of get the whole story type of deal. I feel like, I don't know if it feels the same for you, where like you'll hear little things get thrown at you, and then you're like some of them sink in, some of them bounce off, and it's like, where did that come from?
You're like, wait, which of these happened before the other? Because like that changes the connotation.
Exactly. Okay, but it's cool to hear that your parents are on good terms. That so I assume you're a biological child of both your parents too, right? Or were you like you're?
Like my mom and dad, and then yeah.
I know it seems like self-explanatory, but when I used to tell people they'd be like, "How does that? Your dad's gay? How does that work?" And I've said that on stage a couple times, and I get some laughs. It's like, my dad's gay, so clearly my mom and him had sex to create me. That's just, but no, that I felt like that was always an awkward conversation with people, to be like, "Yeah, I'm not adopted. Like, shut the fuck up." You know?
Well, it's always because I grew like my mom raised me, and I would go to see my dad like every other weekend type thing.
Same
so
here.
I did more so grow up in the societal whatever would have been of like I was a parent. I mean, I was a child of like a single mom, so those are more of the like growing up stuff I know about, rather than like I talk about my dads a lot, and they're like very much like a part of my life. They were a part of my life when I was growing up, but like now we're mutually in each other's lives. So like now it's funny because sometimes I'll be like, yeah, my dad's blah blah blah, and then people will be like, dads? I'm like, yeah, there's two. Like even nowadays, and you're like, what?
Did they so the visitation deal, has that been your entire life, or do you remember when that sort of began?
No, that was just always, because actually apparently I recently learned when I first so my dads have been together like since I was like 2, 3, 4, whatever, like since I was little. Okay. And so apparently because my dad's now husband was like a stranger at the time, when I'd be there for the weekend, my grandparents didn't live far away, so I'd visit my dad every other weekend, but then have to sleep at my grandparents' house, which was like crazy. But it was always it was all the like but then I don't know at what point that changed, that I was able to sleep at my dad's place. Yeah. But it was always the every other weekend thing.
So funny. It's so funny.
Right? Isn't that kind of like, dumb I mean, I guess it makes sense of like that's a stranger, but like in the hindsight of it is like crazy.
Looking at who he means to you now versus then. Yeah. For me, I almost distinctly remember when I met my dad's then partner at the time. They split up during COVID, but they were together for about 15 years or so. And it was just immediately my mom's like, to my dad, he's a stranger. He needs to Christian needs to understand that, and whatever he calls him, it needs to reflect that. He's not dad, nothing like that. I don't know how long you've been. So I mean, my mom was very controlling. My mom's a nice lady, but I mean, there's just different minds, different backgrounds.
It's funny when I first met him, he was like, I was like a toddler or whatever. So he's like, you can call me David. No, you can DJ or David. And since I was so little, I just went with D. And to this day, I still call him that. Yeah. But now it's funny because you can kind of double it up as like could mean dad as well, even though it's for his name, which is David. But
yeah, that works out, because I called when I ended up calling his name Steven, I called him Mr. Steve was his title for all my life, and so even still I'll call him Mr. Steve jokingly. And my brother and my cousin, both on my mom's side, my mom had another child by a different father, who's my brother. I'm pointing somewhere. He's over there. He's in his room. I'm living with my mom right now because I'm doing well. Yeah. And my dad's plural would watch all three of us, my brother, my cousin, and I, as a favor to my mom and her sister. And they all, Mr. Steve is family. He always will be. And it's just one of those things. It's wild to think I'd been calling him that my whole life, and then the context of it all. knowing exactly
Yeah.
when everything sort of started off. When I step back and put it all together, it's sort of like, oh my gosh. Like,
So how old were you when your parents, like when your
yeah,
dad came out or whatever?
I had to have been in like the 3rd grade, somewhere around there.
So you like actually remember it then?
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Exactly.
That's why the weird thing for me, because I was so young, in my head I've only ever known my dad with his now husband and my mom just herself. Like I can't even picture my parents together.
Yeah. No, I mean, I saw them together. I saw them fighting the custody battle, if you can call it that. They never got divorced. They only got divorced, my mom and my dad, like a year and a half ago. They sold the last house that my dad had bought with my mother. Well, I should really say that my dad bought, but co-signed with my mother, so they had co-ownership. They sold that just recently, and when that happened, he also filed for divorce finally, and now he's free and clear. Now he's happy as a clam, going to nudist retreats, living his best life.
Yeah.
But I mean, before then, he had been tied down, even all the while with Steven. And it was hard to watch then, not knowing all that I knew, and it's even harder to think about now. Just like, man, is it really suffering being chained to my mother all that time? Probably not, but it sure would have been a pain in the ass having to in any way have ties to somebody that you're not, emotionally, attached to, I'd say. And then there were all sorts of financial debacles here and there that kept them at each other's throats. But even still, though, again, like here are these people who are like babysitting me and her other son, and like everyone was on good terms. Like my mom's sister loved my dad, still does, and it's like everyone kind of got along and was able to be in the same room, the same sittings, like Thanksgiving type shit and all that. So it was just like this weird thing of like, are they mad right now? Are they gonna argue, or are we cool? So I'm glad you didn't have to go through that, because I feel like so many kids, gay or not, they go through that divorce thing and it fucks them up forever. I certainly have my deep-seated things of just like hearing arguments downstairs and being like, oh boy, I wonder what the fuck's happening. Yeah, but good for you. Good. I'm good. So visiting them, was that sort of a retreat for you? Was it always special?
Well, they were kind of argumentative.
The two of them.
Argumentative type couple, yeah. So, and then I don't know. I don't know for certain, but I have this feeling that like my mom would say stuff, I think, negatively about, like, even everyone got along and all, but like I think she never wanted me to like become more attached over that way type thing. So I would enjoy, like, I'd want to enjoy seeing them, but I was always like nervous going.
Well, that somebody's gonna get mad if you're like having too much fun. That's kind of
So that's why once I graduated high school, then my dad's moved to Arlington, and since then we've grown much closer, like more in my adult life. Am I close to my
from
dad's
Centerville?
Like a kid. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I guess that's closer. Yeah, for sure. And where were you living at with your mom?
In Arlington.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's what's up. Did they kind of want to move there, or did they move there for you?
Well, my grandparents were in Arlington and had been in Arlington for a while, and they both work in like DC and stuff. So like apparently they'd been talking about moving to Arlington for forever, but my dad's like always lived in Fairfax. Like he's from like Burke, like whatever, like Fairfax area.
Yeah.
So, but once they found it, like they're happy. And so it was for them, but like obviously me being around is probably a perk.
Definitely. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So you're really from here. I am in that I grew up here, but my parents are both from way different places. I guess my mom's family's from Maryland, but they moved all over. Like she met my dad in Nebraska when he was, like I said, getting ready to ship out. And my dad grew up in Nebraska, was in the Navy, he's traveled all over the place. And my mom actually, her dad was in the Air Force, also traveling.
Okay.
So they lived in Guam for a time. They lived in
Oh man.
North, South Carolina, all over. So I have family all over the country, pretty much, mostly in like the Midwest and then on this coast.
Yeah.
I would say I've pretty much just been trapped in Stafford, Virginia, where I am now. It's kind of been where I've been glued to. So I was always happy to visit my dad. I asked you if it was sort of a treat because for me, getting to visit my dad was getting to go to DC every other weekend.
For me, it was the opposite. It was me going to the suburbs.
Yeah, so I could, it's kind of neutral then. Yeah, at least you get to see them. But no, for me, it was getting to eat amazing food, getting to go do really cool things, go to museums, go see movies, do everything I couldn't do in the 13 or so or 12, 11 or so days leading up to that weekend. Is, what I looked forward to. Yeah, no, I mean, those are some formative moments for sure. And there are lots of jokes to be made and crafted from those very experiences. How many of your jokes would you say are about them or about those times?
There's definitely a good chunk about my dad's. Like, I know when I was first starting, like, nearly all my material was just always about them. So, like, when I did, like my, whatever 5-minute set from my first, like, DC improv open mic, I think maybe a quarter to a half of the jokes.
Which, by the way, congratulations! That's fucking awesome.
Oh,
when was that?
That was back in like April.
Yeah, that's big shit right there.
Yeah, that I literally, my dad like shared my post about it and said something about like Mara had a dream, set her mind to it, and she made it happen. And I was like sitting on the metro, and I was like crying on the metro.
Yes. No, that is what's up. So that was part of your first set there.
Yeah. So like if I'm doing like my best of material or whatever type 5-minute set, it's about a quarter to a half. It'll be about them.
Wow. Yeah. No, I have one solid joke about my dad and about being gay that I say I do. And there's just not a ton else that I have right now. It's mostly just about my other family, like my mom, or like being black.
Yeah.
And just how I navigate situations. It's just day-to-day shit. All my jokes are basically just day-to-day nuisance stuff, and I'm very deadpan, so I feel like it fits with that. But of the remainder of your jokes, what are you talking about typically? What do you draw inspiration from?
Yeah, no, I like to do like the whole like how we were saying earlier, like the like life experience stuff, like not very much like an observational or like when people do like topical things based on like what's current events and stuff.
Yeah,
my brain like doesn't work like that. So for me, it's mostly like taking life experiences or stories and putting it to jokes. So like right now, a lot of my material I've been writing is about like being like bisexual and stuff, just because it's wherever my head's at is where my where my head's thinking is where my jokes will like draw to. So like there was a bit of time where I was doing a lot of jokes about like sex and stuff because it was when I like first started having sex, or like when I first started going out on a date with a woman. I did a lot of material about like dating women, so you can kind of tell like what I'm doing and where my mind's at in life based on what I'm saying on stage. It's like, okay, like right now I wrote like a new joke about Taylor Swift because I just recently have realized I'm a Swiftie. So I have like a bunch of like Taylor Swift centric jokes that I'm doing. Yeah. I'm sure there's a wealth of material there as well. That's for sure. Swiftie Army. Did you see the Eras tour movie? Are you that that's
deep?
What inspired the joke. That's what turned me into a Swiftie was that movie.
I should stay away from it then. Yeah, I know like next to nothing about Taylor Swift. I've just heard all the music at, gas stations and restaurants and everywhere out in the world. So I'm going to keep it that way. No,
it started with, I heard people talking about like Gaylor theories, which do you know the term? Have you heard of Gaylor?
That she's gay? No. What is that about?
I'm in the boat of that she's bi. But so like, because I do think some like, because everyone talks about like, so some of the guys she's been with were beards, but like some of them she was like genuinely in love with and whatever. But I was like interested by Gaylor Theories, but not her music. And then I saw the Eras Tour concert, and I went, okay, no, this is, I can get behind this.
So you got roped in through something totally extraneous, and then, wow. Yeah, I'm just going to stay away from all of that together, combined, Gaylor or otherwise.
Yeah. No, I found a 2-hour-long video that I still haven't finished.
Gosh.
That deep dives into Gaylor Theories and all the info about it, because there's like a wealth of history on. I'm literally I did the Gayest Show on Earth show in Richmond, and one of the other people on my lineup had a show later, like it was like a week or two ago in October, and it was literally Gaylor 101, and it was just like an hour-long show of a presentation about Gaylor.
These people,
and that she's gay.
I say these people need to get lives of their own. The endless YouTube theorizing and like the wikis and Reddit pages dedicated. But then, as soon as you fall in a rabbit hole like that, then you yourself become invested. And it's like, I'm glad this is here. I'm glad there's just this group of manic people that are dedicated.
There's no way out. Once you're in it,
Because then you feel like you're in a club. You've got terminology you're all using now, like Gaylor, for instance, or Swiftie. And so I'm sure there's a whole lexicon surrounding her music,
I did
her
buy
life.
The dictionary last night.
Oh my gosh. It's going to go up on your bookshelf. That can be your backdrop for your next guest appearance on somebody's show. I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm happy that you found a group of supportive people, but my
favorite thing is that I haven't figured out the joke yet, but I want to do a joke about how it's like more embarrassing or nerve-wracking to come out as a Swiftie than to come out as queer.
That's gold right there. Yeah. Fucking lock that in. But that might polarize people, because some people, why is that embarrassing? Are you ashamed? What's there to be ashamed of?
It's like, yes, I am ashamed.
Have you seen how cutthroat that group of people can be, though? I mean, like it's like
Swifties?
It's like K-pop, and they're just they jump on you.
In like video game culture, so I think I'm used to like
you're used to
toxic sides of fan bases.
Okay, what games did you enjoy?
Well, Minecraft is what the beginning of. Well, I had like a GameCube and like had Mario Party and stuff.
Mario Party 7.
I think I think I've played almost every Mario Party except for like 1, 2, whatever was on the N64.
What was on GameCube though that you played?
I think the GameCube one would be like it was like 4 through 6, because I think wasn't 7 the Wii. No,
I had 7 on GameCube exclusively. I didn't have any of the prior ones.
8's the first one that was in the Wii.
Wii.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like my cousin kept telling me to get into Minecraft, so I finally tried it. Then I got Steam, which led me to Gmod and like CS:GO, and then eventually I got an Xbox. Then I got to like Rocket League, Overwatch, and like Overwatch was like a top tier. Like I deep dove into. I got a photo with the voice actress for Mercy, because I was a basic bitch and I was a Mercy main, which does nothing towards helping women in gaming.
Oh wow!
But because like you can't, like, being a healer main as a woman is like the most basic like thing. But yeah, so I just kind of like jumped around to like whatever games I for like online stuff. I like online group multiplayer stuff, because every time I try to do a solo story game, I never can complete it. So like I got like Red Dead 2, and when they like remastered Skyrim.
That's not on you. Most of these games are way too fucking long for one.
There's so much. Yeah.
You're so busy too. Like just doing comedy and doing and working.
I didn't used to be busy.
Oh, like, even still though. I mean, it's like you have to sit down when you could be playing with your friends. It's like I'm gonna sit here and dedicate.
I didn't have friends before comedy. I had my gaming friends.
Please. Goodness. Well, you had gaming friends, so you wanted to play Minecraft, Overwatch with them.
Overwatch and PUBG. I did have
PUBG,
a small
oh my god.
small Twitch streaming phase.
What's
Didn't get very far.
What's your handle?
Oh,
do you want? You don't have to if it's embarrassing.
I don't know if it might be It's Me Mara. I don't remember. Because It's Me People was like my thing for a while, but it was like People was like PPL. But then
that's a good one.
services let you like change your name. I changed it to like it's me Mara instead.
Yeah. People's good. People's a good like what do you call it? Like a nameless face type thing.
Except if I would type in a chat and people would read my
Pseudonym.
name, like they would read it as it's Meppel a lot. So like, oh, it's Meppel in the chat. Hello, it's Meppel, and I'm like, nope.
I can see that getting irritating, but that's also like pretty catchy. Like I fucked up. I named my gamer tag after a Batman villain, but the actual name was taken, so I added an R at the end, so it's like way too long, way too obscure. And now for my Twitch handle, I had to add like a number to it, which is it's doing way too much. I would rather have Meppel like all day, every day. Like that would just make my life easier.
Yeah.
But I only just started all that streaming, and I've been having a lot of fun in the past year or so. And when I remembered to actually do it, but so Minecraft, Overwatch, was the GameCube your first home console?
That was my first home console, and my first handheld I think was a Game Boy Advance.
Me too. Game Boy Advance SP is what I had. Yeah, and I had a blue
an
one.
Advance for a little bit, but SP I definitely played more.
Mm-hmm. Or I had a translucent Game Boy Advance. It was like the clear see-through one, and then I had an SP after that. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I think I broke that first one so fast that it was like in the blink of an eye on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I say that, but it had to have been like 2 years after this when I finally, 2 Christmases later, I finally got my next Game Boy. No, that's what's up. So you've been a gamer through and through, because that's like those releases were
I think it was when I was like 13, 14 when I was like properly like actually getting involved in like watching Twitch and playing stuff online.
Yeah. Okay. About same for me. So I had to have been in I think it was 6th grade for me. I got an Xbox, and that's when I started playing Xbox Live online games with friends, and like Halo, Call of Duty, all that. But before that, for me, it was just single player Nintendo stuff, and then party games like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Double Dash, Smash Bros is my that's classic. My game. Smash. So Melee was my first one, and that's pretty much all I stream and get any traffic for is Smash Bros, because it's the only game I'm good at where I can like commentate during.
Yeah.
But everything else was beyond that. It was like Xbox, and then I had a DS. Pretty much all my life, Pokemon, all that.
I got a DS Lite, and it was the bundle with Nintendogs. I recently found the game, and I still have my original dog from my Nintendogs when I got it when I was like whatever many years old. Yeah. But that I mainly played a lot of Animal Crossing. That was my number one, Animal Crossing Wild World. I
never played, so I had Animal Crossing on the GameCube, whichever one that was.
That's the original.
Is that okay? So I had the original up until what was the pandemic craze? New Leaf, is that what it was called?
The Switch? It was no, New Leaf is 3DS. The Switch one's New Horizons.
New Horizons.
And yes, they came out right at the shutdown, which was insane.
So I jumped on that bandwagon. I haven't played this since I was like a little kid, and I didn't know what I was doing.
I was pre-ordered. I had it pre-ordered. I was waiting. I got to wait a bunch.
Yeah. Okay, so you were ready. You were waiting for that. That was sort of my reintroduction to the property, and I would say until then I'd sort of been like hands off with Nintendo stuff, and I was fully an Xbox guy at that point. And I want to say it was a year or so later that I got this monster of a PC next to me, so that I could. Once you have
a PC, there's no going back to console.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just pretty much for streaming, that's all I'll play Smash Bros for, and I hook it right into my computer here with my capture card, and it's go time. But all those other games, all the shooters, like you're talking Overwatch, I was just playing Overwatch with my boyfriend a couple nights ago. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm Moira, and that's it. That's all I know how to do.
I love Moira. I love any healers that can like do a little bit of damage type thing. But yeah, I haven't played in so long, I probably have no clue how any of the mechanics work anymore.
There was just a season Switch, so you're probably gonna have like 10 updates. I hope you're ready for that. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing on that game. I just kind of hang back. I like being a healer because it's like I can shoot without being under attack necessarily if I'm behind, like helping everyone else if I'm not getting targeted.
I used to, I would pocket my cousin, so he would be like soldier, and I would just be constantly healing him with Mercy.
Yeah.
With just it was insane.
No, that does seem a little busted, I will say. I played Roadhog for 2 seconds.
Yep.
I got hooked on that power and then quit immediately.
The tankiness of Roadhog is insane.
Yeah. I gotta play more group oriented shit like that. I feel like all I do now is play alone by myself in a corner online. Like I got big into Elden Ring, and all my friends were too, because we had come from Dark Souls 3 before that, and just something happened where everyone fell off and I was the last man standing.
You're
and here I am playing this game I intended to play online the whole way through, and it's like I'm in this. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
Red Dead was the same way. Like I got it because all my friends and I we played GTA 5. GTA Online was my entire 7th grade to present. I felt until I got a PC, it was just GTA 5, and they've been updating it ever since. I think it was the highest selling game of all time until recently. Minecraft just surpassed that.
That makes sense.
But it still might be the highest grossing in in-game sales and currency, all that, GTA. But no, I mean, it had quite the staying power. I mean, until now that I've finally stopped playing it. So I've probably been playing it almost a decade, which is wild to think about. But I mean, that launched me into Red Dead 2 when that came out. I never played the first one, and it's just such a gorgeous game that I would just sit and just ride around and go for a hike, or ride my horse off a cliff and see what happens.
The open world aspects of stuff, that's why I've been wanting to play Breath of the Wild, and I own it, but it's so overwhelming.
I cannot for the life of me. Like Cyberpunk, Breath of the Wild, none of the, I can't. I won't buy one of them. It's not gonna happen.
It's way too much game.
I feel like I'm just wasting money because I'm never gonna explore the game the way the developers intended and the way it was meant to be played, and I'm gonna be missing out, and I'm gonna feel that, and I'm just gonna feel bad about myself. So why put myself through that? It's like sadistic to buy one of these games. But I will be buying the new GTA when that comes out, and that's probably the only title. Yeah, there's all sorts of leaked images. That's the only game I'm anticipating, I'd say. So when that comes out, it's like, all right, everything else is on pause. It's time to grind. Get a nice apartment and a couple luxury cars. No, okay. So you're a gamer. I didn't realize you were a gamer. Okay. Shit. Yeah. If you ever want to start,
hiatus when I got into comedy.
Well, if you want to get out of your hiatus at any point, if you need a reintroduction, I'm learning Overwatch slowly but surely on Overwatch 2 here. I'm late to the game, but if you need a team or a team member, let me know. Nice. We could definitely co-stream sometime. I had some questions here. I never do this. It's just like I said at the beginning. I don't know if I said it on this recording or on the one that I thoroughly messed up. I really am eager to talk to you about a lot. And so this is the first time I've actually written anything down. Just be like, did I hit this? Did I do this? We did a lot about our dads, which is great. I was really curious about that background. Oh, you go to a lot of concerts, I see. So you're seeing Kesha. Recently. Oh, you just recently came from what?
No, I just recently been getting into concerts.
Okay. So how recent a development is this?
So what happened was Fletcher came to town like a year or so ago. I didn't go to see her, and I regretted having not seen her. And so since then, I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure to never miss a concert, ever. So it was Haley Kiyoko, which was last June. That probably was about what kicked off my, concert going. And then, Mod Sun was another, super fun one. because he opened for Black Bear, and then while opening for Black Bear, I think is when he announced his headliner tour. And then there's G Flip recently, who they're like, it's a lot of artists I've been going to see are like primarily queer artists. Which was semi coincidental, but like also the feeling being at like a queer artist's concert is like insane.
Really?
How's it's just like so fun, and like just like everyone, like obviously there can be straight people at a queer artist thing, because like there's queer comedians that straight people will go and see, like that. Obviously you don't want your fan base to be only one type of person, but being in like a concert venue room like full of other people who are all primarily queer is like such a cool feeling.
I get
especially because like I only ever was in those spaces with my dad's, so I'm like, oh, I'm actually going to these spaces like for myself now, so it's been kind of fun.
Yeah, I would say the only experiences I have with like queer concerts have been at Pride events, Pride festivals, when they have like a headliner come through, and like maybe like 2 or 3 acts total, and they each do like 20-30 minutes. I've been to a couple Capitol Prides. I've been to Pride in New York once, and just sort of different pop-up things here and there. But I've never gone to see like a queer performer. Just that's their whole deal.
His was insane. Yeah. Like just the like his, literally there was like a playbill. Like that one, just like the theatric kind of element of it was insane, and the like the stage, whatever, how you set the stage up and stuff was super cool.
Like the like the set design or whatever.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely got to get out to see more shit like that, live music, because the only reason I'm really curious about all your music adventures, it seems like you're seeing a lot of cool people, you know, like very current. Like fun. You said, I'm looking people up now. Fletcher, I've never heard of these people in my life.
Yeah,
because I live under a rock when it comes to music. Like I listen.
Spotify is how I find anything.
Yeah, that's been really good for me too. Like the recommended shit, it'll suggest things that I would have never listened to, and I'm like, okay, I can get behind this, because mainly what I listen to is like jazz and smooth jazz, and I've played trumpet all my life, so many of the people that I grew up listening to or like really avidly into were people that I was looking to like learn from mostly. So a lot of instrumental stuff, a lot of keyboard players, piano, and it's mostly just instrumentalists. And so hearing about all these indie bands and underground singers that have been taking off lately, I do get curious. I'm like, which one of these should I actually check out? What's worth it?
Someone while they're in like the beginning stages in like smaller venues is like, it's like Olivia Rodrigo was at the Anthem last year, and I didn't go to that concert, and now she's at Capital One Arena. So like those are the moments I'm trying to not let happen again, where I'm like, I don't want to be upset that I didn't see someone, or like be like, oh shoot, I missed when they were in town.
Yeah, no, I have those same feelings every time I see like, oh, this is only like $20 per. I'm sure the thing Lorenzo's at right now. Lorenzo's not here. He was gonna pop in for like 2 seconds and show us where he's at, but we had so many technical difficulties on the last run that I told him to stay far and away from this recording, please, for the love of God. I told him, please stay away. But he's seeing somebody at the Fillmore. He's seeing, I guess they're called No Name, or maybe the show was canceled. Either way, that's what it says here, and they're having a good time, him and someone else. But I just don't know what to do. I feel so naked when it comes to good music, or what everyone around me is listening to. I'm just like, I have no idea. It's like people throw out these names of groups and bands. What genres would you say are some of your go-tos? Are you going to like pop or more like folk?
It's primarily been like pop and like pop and pop punk, like Mod Sun's pop punk, but then Fletcher's more like pop, so it's like pop, alt pop, pop punk variations.
I don't want you to I've just been working on like this shot here, I have like this frog in my throat, something, and I realized I don't have any water, so I just was like, oh, I have this Jack Daniels over here. Let me just pour a shot. Try to clear my throat out. It's working, but I don't know what's going on with my. We were supposed to do this a lot sooner. I want to say like a week ago, because we had planned on recording a while back, but I just got super sick out of nowhere. I don't know what the deal was. And as I was feeling better, it was getting closer to when we were going to record. And I was just like, let's just play it safe, because I don't want you to have anything like what I just went through. It was a disaster.
Yeah, no, I can't tell if I'm getting like allergies or like a small cold, but yeah, being sick's never great.
And I mean, so you must be tired, right? You just came from what, New York, just a little bit ago?
Yeah. So I was in New York, just like a quick like Saturday, Sunday trip.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I got home at like 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh. So what was the trip about?
So I went up for Bagel Fest. So it was just like a convention for bagels.
Yeah.
So I got to eat as many bagels as I wanted. And it was like a bunch of these bagel shops like trying to like show themselves off. And there's like, they vote on, there's like a best bagel. There's a vendor that had like bagel themed art and like cartoon like things. So I got a t-shirt that said Bagel Watch. And then I saw this pickle hat that looked cool, and it turns out it's a rapper named Kosha Dills from like Wild 'N Out or something.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was super fun. Does
this look familiar here? Can you see the screen? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can see.
This is what you were
those
at?
are the winners for the things.
Okay.
But but yeah, I went on like a bagel tour from the guy that runs that, like my first trip to New York last year. So that was the main thing. But I went to my first ever Comedy Cellar show, which was insane. And then caught up with you. I did end up doing one open mic, even though I said I wasn't going up there to do comedy. But
it's an addiction. I mean, I totally understand. That's all I do now. If I'm like visiting someplace else, I'm like, are there any mics? I was just in Richmond, not anywhere near my father, but I was in Richmond, and I was like, I got on Facebook or whatever to see if any mic, if any walk-in mics were. But that's awesome. So was this like you get a pass type of deal? And then okay.
So it was like 3 sessions. So there was like Saturday had like a 9 to 12 and a 12 to 3, and then Sunday was a 9 to 2. So I did like the later Saturday and the early Sunday.
Okay, so I've seen your stories and things. So you just must be really into bagels then. That's not just a bit.
So there's a culture around bagels, because what happened was so my grandparents are from New York, and my dad used to go to New York when he was a kid and would get bagels and stuff. So him and I recently started eating bagels around like the DC area to find good bagels. And so through him, I got really into bagels. Then I went on my first trip to New York, did the bagel tour, learned about the history of bagels. And since then I've been like super into bagels and like everything about them. Cause it's both New York culture and like Jewish culture. So it's like the most I've ever connected to like my Jewish like heritage is through bagels, as silly as it sounds, but like that's like one of my things why I like them so much.
Yeah, you sort of have an expertise now around the subject matter. That's interesting. I didn't realize that there was such an underground bagel culture, such that there would be a festival dedicated to. I mean, there's a festival for everything. I mean, there's probably, I could look up any noun and there's a whole organization built around it. But I mean, but still, it's always fascinating to find out, oh my God, there's this week-long event going on, or like this weekend thing at a convention center where all the best bagel makers are going to be present in attendance. So what are your favorite bagels, I guess? Or do you have a favorite style? Everything, whole grain?
I like an egg everything.
Okay.
I don't really know, as much as I like act like I know everything about bagels, I don't really know the big difference between an egg bagel and like a plain bagel. But all I know is that I really like getting egg bagels.
Is one's more yellow than the other, right? Is that what it is?
But I think it's slightly sweet.
Oh yeah.
Also.
I would think. This is speculation. Hey, maybe you know more. Maybe you can put 2 and 2 together with your experience at this festival. But I would think the egg one makes it almost more like dense, or what's the word? It's almost fuller, right? Is it?
like it like changes something. Yeah,
it changes
like
the
more.
integrity of the bagel, the composition. Because I bake. My dad's big on baking, and so I bake on occasion. And when you add eggs into anything, it almost makes the entire thing more fluffy, more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that would explain, maybe that might be it.
Yeah, I don't have any bread making or bagel making experience though. Like I'll make a cake or cookies, and egg involvement makes it more. Yeah, it makes it fluffier, I would say, is the descriptor I would use. Okay. Well, I like egg bagels too. There was this really great place when I was living in Blacksburg. I think it was, I forget the name. I'm not even going to try and butcher this place. But they, in-house, they made all the bagels that you could dream of. And I would go there right across the street from my job, have me one of those, breakfast sandwich, and then kick the day off right. And then when I was broke, I would sob that I couldn't have my bagel.
Yeah, I couldn't have the bagel.
Yeah. Okay, so egg, everything. And what's the spread you're using, if at all?
So I've been going to I've been going to Bethesda Bagels a lot because they have them in Arlington, but that's like my favorite. And I'll do the egg everything with an olive cream cheese. I like a good flavored cream cheese.
That sounds delightful. And you just had dinner. I didn't eat yet. I took that nap. And now I'm starving. I might have to kill somebody for a bagel right about now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, well, let me find out something like that's happening near me, and I'll just be obese for a weekend. I'll make that happen.
It's dangerous, yeah.
That's why. How many did you eat in a day, would you say?
I mean, because you only have like a quarter at a time from each place. I probably had about 3 bagels worth of bagels, but I don't eat a lot. And so like when I did the bagel tour, I literally almost threw up at the last bite. I was like, I can't eat this. And he was like, you have to try it. And I like literally went to the bathroom thinking I was going to throw up. Because there was one time I was at like an all-you-can-eat seafood place, and we were doing like crab legs. I was drinking sweet tea and having crab legs, and I literally ate all I could eat. I did go to the bathroom and throw up. So I was worried that was going to happen again.
This is, oh my gosh, when you're like purging to eat more bagels.
Oh no, my body purged it. My body was like, this is too much.
It's funny you say that. So my family, there's a tradition of going to Captain George's in Williamsburg.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Oh, okay, cool. So
it was this one was in the Outer Banks or whatever, because I was out for a trip, but yeah.
No, we my folks and I, we go to Captain George's every year. Down by Busch Gardens, there's one.
Yeah, no, my family vacations as a kid was always at Williamsburg, so.
So that every Easter usually we'll do that. It's between that and another place that's in Woodbridge that does like the Brazilian steakhouse type thing when
Texas
they come
Day
around.
Brazil.
Well, it's called Charbroiled Grill in Woodbridge.
Yeah, but no, Brazilian steakhouses are amazing.
So it's one or the other, usually, typically every year. And the last time we went, it's funny that you had I'm sorry, you got nauseous, but I went to the bathroom not to throw up, but because just to, use the restroom. And there were these 2 kids running around in the bathroom, right? Yeah. Or like they ran in, and they're unsupervised. These 2 they're up to like my hip. I'm like, what's going on? And one of them just throws up all over the ground, right? And I skirted, like backed up and dodged it. They just threw up like right. I'm going to say, are you okay? What's going on? And I was just coming out of the stall when it happened. Like they run in, I'm in the stall, and I open the door and they throw up right in front of me. And so I step over there and I'm like, we need to find your parents, something.
Yeah.
And there's this other guy in the stall next to me, and I let him know. I was like, hey, this kid just threw up everywhere. I'm going to go outside and find somebody. And he's like, give me the thumbs up from taking a shit or whatever. And I go out. I'm frantically looking for people, and everyone it was a nice team building exercise. Everyone banded together to find these kids' parents so that they could take care of these children.
Throw up.
I mean, just imagine your kids not one but two kids you let leave the table for God knows why, and then not only are they like causing mayhem, but they're throwing up all over the ground.
Oh jeez.
Just to say, a lot of white trash at the Williamsburg Captain George's.
Sounds about right.
It's a good deal. All the king crab legs you can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I learned that one the hard way.
Not like I said, we're Marylanders, so we like love the crab shit. All the seafood boils. I'm big on those. It's a shame my boyfriend has a shellfish allergy, and it's like I wish he would have led with that. I really wish.
You wouldn't.
I feel misled. I feel lied to. No, I'll eat his fill. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, good. I think we talked about most of what I was curious about personally. I mean, it's always great seeing you around. I feel it's overcome with joy when I see anybody that I recognize, but then when I see people that are awesome and then I know for a fact they're awesome, I'm like, oh, thank God. Like,
yeah, no, does make it enjoyable. When you're sitting at a mic and you don't know anyone, it's the worst feeling of just like boredom and then social awkwardness or like social anxiety like blended together.
Mm-hmm. I'm so terrible at networking, and I have like the worst resting bitch face, I've been told. So it's nobody wants to come up to me, which is like, part of that's by design. That's like my defense mechanism walking around in the world, but it's not great for when you want to meet people and, break the ice.
Oh yeah. It doesn't work for that.
But I heard actually this evening on my way home, M. Fisk messaged me. I don't know if she talked to you already, but she mentioned that you'll be headlining for us in December, a holiday show we're doing at Fat Pete's. I mean, that's something. Did you just learn about that today?
Yeah, she just texted me about it, and I'm excited because I've done a couple 20-minute sets, but this will be my first time doing 30, which I actually, the most recent time I did 20, they said I could run the light, so I actually ended up doing 25.
Nice.
So I know it's there. It's just a matter of,
Definitely. And you have, how many jokes would you say overall, what would it amount to time-wise? Everything that you have committed to memory?
That's what I'd be.
Is 30 pushing it for you right now?
No, I think I honestly could potentially have more than 30. Because what happened was when I first started, because I wasn't getting booked or not getting stage time because I was just starting, I was writing so much and like constantly that it generated so much material for me just right off the bat, like up front. So I think I have a good probably like 30 to 35 maybe.
And you can recall all that stuff though. It's all banked.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I would maybe need a paper just for the order, like set list mechanic of it, just because like the order of that many jokes is a lot. But it would be like one word, like little reminders on the list.
Definitely, yeah, I get that. I'm in the same boat, a little under that. I'm probably somewhere just under 30, like 25, 30 of jokes that I can recall from memory, and I would say all the mics I'm going to right now, it's more of what you're talking about, just trying to determine the order that I want to tell them in, trying to see if something works better ahead or behind of something else, if I can tweak it a little bit here and there, where to intersperse crowd work if I need it, but I try not to depend on it for a whole lot because people are fucking crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to be too much of a crutch with it.
Yeah. And I admire crowd work. I know people have a bone to pick with it sometimes, seeing how successful all these TikTokers get off of it. But I mean,
from it.
I try to have actual written material that I can rely on. Like you said, I don't want it to be a crutch because you just can't depend on the crowd like that. That's a dangerous game. That's you either have to be super good with people. A lot of crowd work
is just like calculated.
Yeah, well, so that's what I do. I mean, that's my secret. I have a whole what do you call it? Like possibility of outcomes, like a tree, like a thought tree of like, okay, we start here with this question, and then it could be one of three things, and then from here it's one of two or three. and I'm actually surprisingly pretty good at remembering that, or remembering how to stick to it. And if it gets away from that, usually it would have to be even funnier, like of an outcome, because it's just outrageous that I could just say nothing and look at other people and get a laugh if it deviates from it too much. So, but no, I would say most of my jokes are straight up, set up, punchline, or story based.
Yeah, just classic. And I have about 25 minutes of that. And the longest set I've done is about it would be I did a 10-minute spot that I did for about 12 or 13 minutes, and I could have kept going then. Yeah. And so I feel pretty confident about that. I'll be hosting, I want to say, for that show. Oh, cool.
And I'll be hosting again next month for a dark comedy show that I talked to you about.
That looks cool.
Yeah, so I wanted to get you on that, but Emmett already booked it, so I figured if somebody was going to drop out or what, you're right there. You're on call. But I was glad to hear that you'll be headlining this next one.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. This is my foray into hosting, into getting paid, all of it. I'm really excited, and I'm glad she's brought me in on it. M. Fisk for the listener of Cheers Comedy over at Fat Pete's Barbecue. Get on the website Cheers Comedy DC and see what's going on. Let me pull it up and do my job. So we can examine. I think at least the one shows up now. It's still kind of outdated. This was the last show that went down there with Mike B, the producers showcase, which is a lot of fun. But the problem with doing a free show like this, and this one was free, going forward, they're paid, they're ticketed shows. But I mean, it got sold out pretty much instantly. But there wasn't a whole lot of budgeting for no shows, and then we get there and only half the people actually show out for it. Thankfully it was but thankfully there was an art event going on. The mayor had an art all night sort of deal happening. Yeah. That's part of why it was free, because there was a stipend given to us for the event on account of the art night. But we were able to busk and get people off the street in there and fill seats. But we won't run into that issue when people are actually I feel like when you put money down on something, you're gonna
then they're actually gonna show up.
Yeah, definitely. So that's exciting. That's going to be that we don't have a name for it, but I'm pretty sure, fingers crossed, the theme surrounding that is going to be holiday drama, home for the drama days, concentrated. And we're trying to pull from all different backgrounds, so you'll be our Jewish Hanukkah expertise there on scene, which I'm sure, as we've discussed, it sounds like you have a wealth of material on.
There's enough about bagels, at least.
Bagels, at least. Good. Oh man, well, is there anything else going on in the world that you desperately want any current events, global events, maybe?
I mean, we already talked about the Taylor Swift Eras concert.
The most pressing global controversy at large.
Yep.
No, I'm playing. I'm not going to bait you into talking about Israel. I'm not going to do that to you. Who would I be? I haven't touched any of that. I will say, I've just been because who am I? I'm first of all, no one's listening to shit I'm saying about anything, but I don't know anything about Israel and Gaza and this ongoing conflict. I recently
asked somebody to explain it all to me.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I need that. That's my Taylor Swift rabbit hole right now. Is trying to find out understanding global conflict.
Yeah.
Or regional conflict.
One of us is having more fun than the other.
For sure. I'm having a blast. Having a warhead of a blast looking at all this shit. For real. No, I mean, Taylor's doing it. So are you following the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce
My phone
nonsense?
Is making me through TikTok. But
yeah, good.
I know, I just know that they seem really into each other. or something.
That's what's up. Is that in any way sort of impeding on your
The
Gaylor
Gaylor stuff.
stuff?
I mean, this guy apparently, like, everyone is under the like impression that they generally are into each other and everything.
Mhm.
Somebody did say to me recently that their opposition to the Gaylor theory and her being bi is the fact that a bisexual woman can't date someone that manly,
Okay.
which just further makes me want to like deep dive more into Gaylor theories.
Yeah,
That's biphobic, but okay.
yeah, we can debunk this somehow if we look deep enough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that just about covers everything pressing. I'll say about cheers as well to the listener. Anybody, I'll probably clip this. Next Monday, the 30th, we will be having an open mic. It's always the second and last Monday of each month. And this upcoming Monday, October 30th, is a costume contest. So please come dressed appropriately, however you see fit, in your best costume, cosplay, what have you. And you could potentially win a gift card to the barbecue restaurant, to Fat Pete's. So if you're into brisket or pulled pork, that costume contest is your night. There. It's excellent food. Throw down on some barbecue, have a good time, dress up, do an impression, maybe not. I don't know if that's your thing. And yeah, have a blast. October 30th. Other than that, at the end of the show, Lorenzo, again, he couldn't be here tonight. He's having a swell time at the Fillmore, but he normally gives advice to our audience, usually pertaining to topics that we discussed on the lead up to now. And I think if you're okay with it, is there anything you would advise the listener about in the way of navigating Taylor Swift fandom or bagel eating?
Well, I will say, yeah, Taylor Swift fandom is quite hectic and difficult to get into, but bagel eating, the one most important thing to know if you're getting a good bagel is that it needs to be hand rolled, and you can tell if a bagel's hand rolled because the circle's not perfect. If it's perfect, then it was machine rolled.
Oh shoot!
And you want it to be they have to be hand rolled and then boiled. They have to be boiled boiled before they're baked to make them good. Because there's like fast food esque bagel places like Bruegger's Bagels.
Yeah.
That I think my dad told me they steam them instead of boiling them for like a faster process, but then it makes it the texture is not right.
It's not right, or is it distinct? Is that their thing? Like how Chick-fil-A's thing was they made the chicken a certain way, and that's why everyone tries to go there on Sunday.
Soft on the inside. You don't do the milk before you bake them. I think it doesn't do the right texture like that.
Okay. All right. Any advice to Mercy players on how to improve or how to become a no-life?
It's been too long since I've played to be able to know what advice there'd be. Don't die.
Don't die. You play Minecraft still? Are you out there?
I have jump back on occasionally. I've embarrassingly enough bought it on mobile. I got it on PC, I have it on Xbox and my Switch.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And I'm ready for Minecraft.
Yeah, I have it on PC. I've maybe played it twice because everyone, again, it's every time I get a game, everyone leaves. Yeah. It's like on to the next thing.
There's not necessarily a goal to it, so it's just kind of nice to turn the brain
But even
off.
still, it's like I feel like as soon as I got the game, everyone had these servers and they were big on the building their own worlds, and then I buy the game and it's like it's never been played for a day. So
Yeesh. Well,
yeah. It was that in GTA for me growing up though. So I was right there with you on that Minecraft. Well, Mara Finer, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe next time you could meet Lorenzo. He's a real treat. He's what keeps this show going. If he didn't depend on me to record us, this wouldn't get done. And we would have 0 listeners as opposed to the coveted one that we have on occasion. So
nice.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. I'll hear these mics on the grind. I look forward to it. Thank you again. All right. Is there anything you want to plug? Any Instagram, fucking socials?
Yeah, I mean, my Instagram's MNFeiner. Finer's Feiner. Like, my dad always says, nothing can be finer. But there's an E in there. But yeah, that's where all the stuff's at.
Let's take a look at this real quick, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. Oh, look at beautiful. There you are, pinned right there. That's
my most prized post.
That's the dream. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I better fucking like that shit. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. It's only up from here. 2 years in, and you're killing the game. I'm fucking
somehow.
Look forward to seeing you rise even further. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. It's bedtime. I need to eat some salmon and call it a night. Thank you again.